Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video. It's going to be something a little bit different. Like, I haven't really did one of these up until this point, but with Regulation D going live for a brand new rank split, we switched from Regulation C over to Regulation D for VGC, meaning that all of the Pokemon home transfer Pokemon, apart from the ones that are mythicals or like, I'm not sure what the other ones are, like the mythicals or the other legendaries. Any of the ones that are on screen right now that are not legal are all allowed in VGC now with Regulation D. So I'm kind of just going to be going through and kind of ranking all the home transfer mon. Now keep in mind that there's some that aren't on this list, like Charizard and Chestnut, and I think it's also legal. Like a lot of like the starters that were in like the mightiest mark raids, but they aren't on this list. But the reason why I'm not going to really go out of my way to put them on this list or find a list with them is because the majority of them anyways, even them not being here, it doesn't really matter because all of them are kind of just mid at best. So even if they're not here, it doesn't really pay talking about them very much, so it's not really that big of a deal. So I know there's going to be some people that are asking where some certain starters are that aren't on here. So apart from that, all the home transfer mons are legal right now, so I'm going to go through and rank them for you guys. I've been playing on the casual ladder for about a month now, with a multitude of other different teams, and just kind of going based off what I've been seeing and what's kind of been getting played all the way up until Regulation D right now, and the release of it, at least for today, in which actually got released today. So if you guys like these types of videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Not going to be too much on screen, just going to kind of be a lot more talking than like visual type stuff. So if you guys just want to tab out and listen to me talk, that's completely fine as well. On screen, I don't know if I already have the list. I probably already do on screen, but if not, I'll throw it on screen for you guys right now. These are all the mons that are not legal. They are either mythicals or banned legendaries. So they are not legal in Regulation D and you cannot use them. Maybe you'll run into them in like your casual games on the ladder, but if you're playing ranked, you're not able to use them, so I'm not going to talk about them at all. Starting it out, we got Alolan Raichu. I'm going to put this thing as like an F tier. I don't think it's good. Alolan Raichu is not good because the main reason why is because I think it lost Rising Voltage and it lost Expanding Force, which I think was two moves it had back like either last gen or 1 or 2 gens ago. It is just not that good, and Surge Surfer you need someone to actually set up the electric train, so the only way you're going to actually get that is either with Miraidon, which is banned, or with Pincurchin, and Pincurchin is an awful mon. So either you're setting up electric train manually with something else, like a Prankster mon or something that's really fast, just for an Alolan Raichu, or you're using Pincurchin and it really pigeonholes you. I just don't think it's that good right now. And you're not going to be seeing it played very much on the ladder. Same with the Alolan Dugtrio. This thing's really bad. There's just no reason to use this thing. If you want to use it, you're forced to run Focus Sash, and there's just so many other better ground types that you can actually throw onto a team. Its abilities don't really do anything, and you're just better off pretty much using anything else, especially with Landorus. If Landorus exists for a ground type, there is legit no reason to use this thing. Alolan Purge, I think, can be decent. I don't think you're going to be seeing it that much, but I'll put it at a C tier. Mainly just because it has Fake Out and Parting Shot, which is also really good, and it's pretty fast at base 115. And it can be pretty bulky with Fur Coat or the Technician. It does have Foul Play, and I think it also gets Snarl as well, so that gives it a little bit more viability. But I just don't think you're going to be seeing it that much because Dark types really aren't the greatest right now because you have Fluttermane running around, which is one of the highest usage mons, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So unless you defensive Terra this thing, you're not going to be really outspeeding Fluttermane and that type of thing, which is always going to hold it back. So, and a lot of the other Paradox mons that usually like to get speed boosts and that type of thing. Hisuian Arcanine, I think this thing can be good, but the problem with it is it's a typing, a Fire Rock typing. It's great offensively, don't get me wrong, but I think regular Arcanine is just outclasses it in every way. And the main reason why is because you're forced to run a defensive Terra type on this thing if you want to actually use it most of the time. Just because the Rock Fire typing is just such a bad defensive typing. It's great offensively, but like you're not really fast enough to outspeed a lot of the stuff you need to outspeed with this thing unless you run Scarf, and you're not going to really want to be doing that most of the time. So mainly going to have to tear this thing, and you're going to have to really build a team around it, which kind of sucks. But I think if you want to use Arcanine, I think the normal Arcanine is just way better, unfortunately. Hisuian Slowbro, I have not seen this thing played at all, so I'm not even sure what this thing even does. Same with like Hisuian Slowking. Like I'm gonna put them in C tier. I think they might have potential, but I just haven't seen them played at all. I've ran into like everything else so far on just like on your casual ladder, like going up till now over the past month with people testing stuff and building random teams and testing everything, but I haven't ran into any of these at all. And I'm not sure what they really even do, let alone if they're actually going to be good in VGC. I know they're really good in singles, but I don't know about VGC. So if it was a singles list, I'd probably put them higher because I know they're both pretty damn good in singles. But VGC, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to kind of put them in C tier. Alolan Muck, you're going to see, I think I put it at like a B tier. I think it has potential. The typing on it's really great. That's the one thing Alolan Muck has, and also it's a knockoff user that gets knockoff by level up, which is huge and it's very limited to a lot of mons right now. The poison typing is always really good with all the fairies running around, Flutter Mane, and a bunch of other stuff. And then being only weak to ground and having one ground weakness, and that's about all you have, is also really, really good. And if you really want to, you could also Terra Flying and pretty much get rid of that, and then you have a bunch of options with like Poison Touch, or even like I've seen people run like some really cool builds and teams around like Power of Alchemy and being able to like switch your abilities with your teammates and stuff, which is kind of cool. It does have options. I don't think you're going to be seeing it a crazy amount, but it's a lot better than what else is on this list so far. Hisuian Electro, there's another new mon. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I haven't seen this thing played. I think I played against it once, and it didn't do really anything. I think the main thing with this thing is its high speed stat. Like, I'll put it in B tier just because of its high speed stat, but, like, at the same time, Regieleki is legal right now, so if you want an electric type, like, you're better off just picking Regieleki most of the time. That is the main problem with this thing. And it doesn't really have stats apart from speed that are actually really good enough to justify using it most of the time. Grass electric typing is decent offensively, but like I said, there's not really much reason to use it apart from like either setting up rain or like doing some crazy stuff with like explosion or I don't know, maybe under rain it can be decent, but there's just so many better options. It's kind of outclassed. Maybe even B tier is a little bit too high. I might actually move it down to C tier. I think that's a little bit too high. Normal Tauros, this thing's pretty bad. I haven't even seen this thing played at all once. And I think there's a reason why, and I think it's just outclassed by everything else. Even as like an intimidator, even as like a sheer force user, like I don't see any reason why you want to use this thing right now. At all. Galarian Articuno can be decent. I'm going to put it at a B tier. You're not going to see it a lot, but you will see it once in a while. It works on Trick Room teams, and it can work on some more like the more gimmicky teams. Competitive is decent with Intimidate running around with Landorus, Arcanine, Salamence, and a few other things that have Intimidate or stuff that wants to lower your stats, so it ain't too bad, but you just won't be seeing it played that much. Articuno is very niche. I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm not going to put it in F tier because I think you can use it under like Hail, and with like Snow Cloak or like the Spam Blizzard under like a Hail team, it can maybe work. There was like a team for a tournament that I seen that actually like won a tournament with like it was like Snow Cloak, Bright Powder under Hail, and you had like 60% accuracy versus you, so you had like only a 60% chance the opponent will like actually land a move on you with Snow Cloak and Bright Powder. So, and it was like Terra Water or something. So another problem with it is you kind of have to run like a defensive Terra because the ice flying typing isn't really that great. It does get freeze dry as well, which is kind of unique, so it gives it another little bit like a slight niche. Galarian Zapdos, you're not going to be seeing this thing very much unless you want to run it under like Rain, or even then. I mean, it has decent stats, but I just don't think you're going to be seeing it played that much over a lot of other stuff. Zapdos, I think, can be good. I'm going to put this thing actually in an A tier. I think it's actually really solid under Rain. You're going to see this thing if people are starting to run Rain. Zapdos is one of like the better like Rain users right now that we currently have, at least out of all the transfer mods that you're going to be seeing. You're able to spam Hurricane. It gets coverage and fire coverage with Heat Wave for steel types as well. You can Terra Fire if you really need to. It's pretty damn good. And then you got the Thunder, and you got Roost and stuff, so pretty solid. Galarian Moltres, I'm going to put an A tier. I think out of the majority of the birds, and at least out of the Galarian ones, I think it's the best one. You'll see it once in a while. Like, I've played against it like a handful of times, at least over the past month, and it seems to do decently well. It just depends on what's being played and what team you build around it, I guess. It has really solid move pool and it has pretty good stats, and Berserk is actually really, really good for an ability. So it has potential, but it just comes down to what you actually run with it and what team you build around it. I just don't think you'll be seeing it like a crazy amount. Just kind of one more of those average type picks you'll see once in a while. Moltres, not good. F tier. There's no reason to play this thing at all. Just gets shut down by everything, and if you want to run this thing, you're forced to Terra because the fire flying typing is just a bad typing for, at least defensively. It's decent offensively, but defensively it's pretty bad. Mew, I don't know why Mew's here. I forgot to put that in not legal tier. Typhlosion, I'm going to put it a B tier. I think if you want an Eruption spammer, I think out of the Eruption spammers in the game right now, I think Typhlosion and Torkoal, and I guess normal Typhlosion are like the best ones right now, at least off the top of my head. So if you do want like a Eruption spammer under Sun, I think the best one is Typhlosion. So it does have a niche in that way, and it has the Ghost typing, which is also really, really good. So Uxie, you're not going to see this thing that much. I'm not going to put it in F tier because I don't think it's useless, but I just don't think it's that good. Same with Messbridge. Azelf, if you guys missed my videos, I had a team around Azelf that I actually used with like Terra Normal, Choice Scarf, Explosion. And at least that's one niche it has. It's a really fast stealth rock user if you want to throw up rocks. And it's like the fastest out of the Lake Trio. So, and then it also is one of the highest attacking explosion users in the game right now, apart from like Regieleki and like one or two others. So it does have a niche in that way, but apart from that, the only other thing it really has is it does get decent move coverage, but nothing crazy. You're not going to see it very much. That's more of a niche mod. Heatran, I think, is going to be really good. I'm going to put Heatran in S tier because this thing is incredibly good. And being the ability to have like Terra now, you can Terra this thing into like a Terra Grass or even like Terra Flying sometimes and be able to get rid of your ground weakness 100% is huge for Heatran because that was the main thing that would always hold it back. People either run Hidden Power or people just knock you back with a 4 times effective move. And now you can get rid of that with either Terra Grass or like Terra Flying. I've even seen like some other stuff. Terra Water is pretty good. There's a lot of other stuff. Terra Ghost to get rid of your fighting typing as like a check to some fighting types. So pretty solid right now. I think you're gonna be seeing Heatran a lot in a lot of your teams. I really do. Cresselia is another one that's S tier. It just does way too much. It is legit unkillable unless you have like huge like firepower on your team that's like huge wall breakers to break through that type of stuff. If you don't do enough damage to this thing, it just sets up Trick Room. It can set up Calm Mind. It's usually either like Terra Fairy or like Terra Psychic. I've seen Terra Water on a couple of them. Usually just depends on what Terra you really want to run, but Ally Switch it has Trick Room. It has a bunch of other really cool stuff. Lunar Blessing is really good. So I think that's the whatever the one that you restore you and your allies' status effects and you give them 25% of your health. I don't know if that's Lunar Blessing or Lunar Dance. I'm not sure. I forgot which one is which, but it also got that this gen, which is also incredibly good. And it is one of the best, if not the best, Trick Room setter in the game right now. So that's why you're going to be seeing it a lot. Hisuian Samurott, I think, is really solid. The problem is it gets outsped and its speed tier is kind of low and it gets outsped by a lot of stuff like Regieleki, Fluttermane, Iron Bundle with Freeze Dry and that type of thing. A lot of the other more speedier stuff. I do think it has potential and it's a really solid mon. Hisuian Lilligant, I think, has potential as well. I'm actually going to put this thing as like an A tier. I think under Sun, this thing's crazy. I think you'll be seeing this thing probably in like a lot of your Sun teams if people do want to start running Weather. I think looking at Hisuian Lilligant is actually a really solid option. Fighting, grass typing. Victory Dance is a crazy ability. You get a speed boost and attack boost. It's crazy. And with that, how much speed you have already, you just hit like a truck. You really do. You also can tear it into like either a grass, a fighting type, or even more of an offensive typing. So really solid. It's pretty much Torkoal Lilligant. Like, you're probably going to see this thing with like Torkoal Lilligant, but like instead of normal Lilligant, you're going to see that swapped out with like Hisuian Lilligant, which is even just better. So it makes that combo even better as well. Hisuian Braviary. I think I'm gonna put that thing in an F tier. Really cool mon. It's just not good. Just not a good mon at all. It's just way too slow. Tornadus T. I think this thing's solid. I think under rain, it can be solid. The problem with it, though, is they kind of gutted this thing's move pool. It doesn't get knockoff anymore, and it lost a bunch of other moves that it had 1 or 2 gens ago. So that's the only problem. But under rain, I think you'll see it once in a while. Tornadus Eye is S tier. This is probably one of the best support mons in the game. Same with Thunderous Eye. These are probably the 2 best prankster mons and support mons in the game right now. You're going to see these on the majority of your teams. I've been running them on my teams, and I've been running against them in almost every other game up until this point, just on like your casual like ladder up until Regulation D went live. So going to be seeing them a lot. Landorus T S tier, incredibly good. The Intimidate's really good. Gets Rock Slide, Earthquake. You can Terra Flying. Really solid mon. One of the better, like probably one of the best ground types in the game. You can run Assault Vest on this thing. A bunch of different sets, a bunch of different Terra types you can run. Just overall, it's incredibly good. Gives you a lot of options for team building, and it's just really solid mon. Like Landorus has always been, and Landorus T has always been a great mon. Even with its move pool getting a little bit kind of gutted, it's still pretty damn good, at least for VGC. I'm not sure about singles though. Thunderous T. I think under rain, this thing is really good. So I'm going to put it in A tier just because I think under rain, this thing is crazy. And you're going to be seeing this under rain a lot. I think if you want an electric type under rain, I think what you're going to be picking right now is either Zapdos or probably Thunderous Eye or Thunderous T, whatever, which one it is. And then I think you get the Wild Strike Surge or whatever its signature ability is, which is a double hitting electric type move. I think that's based like 100 power, which is crazy. And it's 100% accurate in the rain, which is huge. Landorus Eye, I'm going to put it a B tier. Don't get me wrong, this thing might have potential, but the problem with this thing is I think you're going to be seeing Landorus T a lot more than Landorus Eye, unless you run like a sand team, which is not really the most common thing. Meloetta, I forgot to put in not legal tier. That's not legal. Forgot to move that. Delphox, you're not going to be seeing this thing at all. It gets destroyed by everything that's faster than it, and there's just so many other better fire types in the game. Carbink, a really cool mon. I wish it had potential, but it's just really bad. There's no reason to use it. It's just set up bait, and you're pretty much just better off just throwing anything else on your team most of the time. Hisuian Goodra, I think, has potential. I'm going to put it in A tier. Shelter, like Iron Defense, Body Press, that type of thing's been really huge, and what a lot of people's been running with like a defensive Terra Water, like Terra Fire or something. So, or Terra Fairy sometimes as well. Hisuian Avalugg, F tier, not good. Hisuian Decidueye, this thing is a really cool mon, but gosh, is it fucking garbage. It's an awful mon. Megaran, I forgot to put in not legal tier. Same with Zacian, and I think both Zacians I forgot to put in not legal tier, unfortunately. Rillaboom, I think, is really good. You're going to be seeing this in a lot of your games, mainly because of the fake out pressure, fake out, knockoff, U-turn. Gets a bunch of really good supportive moves, and it has really good bulk and really good stats. You're going to be seeing it in a lot of your games. It doesn't have Grassy Glide anymore, but it's still really good as a more of a supportive mon for teams. Urshifu Rapids, or I think this is the dark one. I think this might be the dark version one. I think that one's at least A tier. I think the Rapid Strike is a lot better right now than the dark version, but they're both really good. I might argue just put them both S tier because they're all incredibly good. You guys know why Urshifu is good. Like Unseen Fist is crazy, and how hard that thing hits. It may not have the highest of speed stats, but with how hard that thing hits and how it just checks protect and everything, it's just crazy. Regieleki, I'm going to put Regieleki in an S tier. I think you're going to see a huge spike in usage for this thing. Maybe not offensively, but it also has like supportive options with like light screen and reflect and stuff with like light clay, which I can see being ran. But it did get a bit of a nerf to transistor from 1.5 down to 1.3. But I think you'll still be seeing it because it's just crazy. You don't even have to run like max speed some of the time. It only like enough to outspeed like Iron Bundle at like a +1. So still really crazy mon. Regidrago I think has potential, but you kind of got to build a team around it, so I'm going to probably put it like a B tier. Has potential though, I think it's a really underrated mon right now. Glastrier, under Trick Room, this thing is really good, but I think apart from that, it's just really niche, and you're not going to be seeing it very much. Spectrier, I'm going to put it a B tier. The problem with Spectrier is it just gets outclassed by Flutter Main, and that is the main problem with it right now. Once Flutter Main goes away, or if Flutter Main ever falls off, then you might see a rise in Glastrier, or Spectrier. But you're better off just having the Fairy Ghost typing, which is such a way better typing than just pure Ghost with like one spammable Ghost move. It just lacks coverage as well. Its coverage is really bad. Weirdeer, F tier. You're not going to be seeing this thing at all. Cleaver, you've seen a little bit, just mainly with like, I don't know, it has a move that sets up Stealth Rocks. I forgot what the name of it is, but you've seen it played a little bit. And I went against it once in a while. It's decent. Ursaluna under Trick Room, I think is probably one of the best Trick Room mons right now. But it might fall off depending on what other people start running. People are so prepared for Ursaluna as well, which is just kind of making it fall off a little bit. Basque Legions, I think under Rain, I think they're both incredibly good. It just comes down to which one you want to run, special or physical. I think they're both really good under Rain. And probably some of the best Rain sweepers the game has now, apart from like Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and a few other things. Sneasler is really good. I'm going to put Sneasler at an A tier. Unburden's really good. It gets Fake Out. You can run Sash on the thing as well. Poison Touch is pretty good. Dire Claw is crazy. It has a lot going for it. Really solid attack and speed stats. Overquill. This thing's pretty bad. I'm going to put this thing at like a C tier. And the only reason I'm putting it at a C tier is because it can be decent under Rain with Swift Swim. But apart from that, I think it's really bad. Enamorous. I think this thing's like about A tier. And then I think Enamorous I think we'd probably put it like a B tier. Because it's only really good under Trick Room. You're not going to be seeing this thing anywhere else. And Enamorous, those are pretty good. The problem is Flutter Main exists, and there's a few other fairies that you're usually going to want to be running. But as a fairy type, you might justify running it sometimes. You might see a little bit more of a uptick in usage for this thing as well, because I know there's a lot of people that want to experiment with Enamorous, and nobody's really played it and experimented with it so far. So, apart from that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. That is the entire list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like I said, 100% opinionated. But I will be hopping into Regulation D. I should have some Regulation D ranked games going up on the channel, and probably even streaming some ranks as well. So if you guys do not want to miss that, subscribe. If you are new, really appreciate it. Subscribe and share the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for watching.